Hey guys, Tarek again, welcome back. We're talking about free traffic sources. This one is on forum commenting. I've already recorded one video that's on blog commenting. If you haven't checked that out, please do so. A lot of great content on there. If you have, there's going to be a little bit of overlap on this one, but bear with me, there's still a lot of great stuff on this one. Like I said before, I tend to focus my attention and my efforts now on paid advertising, basically because if I have an offer or a squeeze page or whatever, I might think it's great, but the real test is it's getting eyeballs on that and getting feedback from the marketplace, so I can see straight away or within a few days what needs to be changed, what needs to be tweaked or whatever, so I can improve that ad or that squeeze page. So for me, paid advertising is what I focus on. But having said that, there are plenty of great free traffic sources out there, one of them being forum commenting. So let's just kick off with that. So why the need for free traffic alternatives or sources? Well, when I started out online, I didn't have much money, so I did go down the route of free traffic sources. And why not? Because there are plenty out there. And same with you. Maybe when you're starting out, you haven't got much budget to spend on pay advertising, so free traffic sources is a great alternative. Even so, even if you do have money, you might not know the ins and outs of paid advertising, Google AdWords or Facebook ads or solar ads. So if you don't know what you're doing or you're unsure, it's really easy to spend a lot of money very easily, very quickly, without getting much of a return. So that's just something to be aware of. Like I said before, there are plenty of great traffic tactics out there. So it's really just how much time you have to spend getting these working for you. So it's the balance that you have to get straight in your mind. If you have time, evenings or weekends, then this is a great way to go. Also, if you find something works, if you find forum commenting works, there's no reason why you can't scale that. You can find lots and lots of more, lots of forums that you can get involved in and put comments on. So it's something which is very, very scalable. It just requires consistent, persistent action, and over time, the more you do this, over time the traffic will become a torrent, basically. And also, history has shown, especially with Google, Google tends to change their algorithms, very often. We've seen that with AdWords, with SEO, with article marketing recently, with the Penguin and Panda updates, that they do tend to change the playing field, and suddenly you find something that's worked in the past doesn't work anymore, and your traffic's dried up. So it's always good to maybe have different traffic tactics working for you and driving traffic to your site. And diversification, basically. So the great thing about forum commenting is it can be done in the background. It's something that as you get used to and get to grips with, you can even outsource. So it is something that won't yield massive traffic straight away, but over time it can do. So forum commenting, how it works. Okay, so there are plenty of forums out there, and these forum owners want experts to put comments on their forums and to help and advise. So forum owners do want you to get involved, engaged in their forum, because really, unlike blogs or blog commenting, forums are driven directly by the members, by the users. It is about engaging, it's about helping, it's about offering ideas, it's about complaining about things going wrong. I know when I've had issues with my AdWords account being banned and so forth, I went straight onto forums to find out what the hell is going on and what I can do about them. So the forums are a great source of getting an idea of what's happening in the marketplace in your niche, what the hot stuff is and what isn't. So this is where you have a great opportunity. But why? What's the benefit of forum commenting? Okay, so as you get engaged, as you get involved in the forums, and you're posting on there, you're helping people, you're engaging, you're offering great advice and content, over time, the other members as well as the forum owner will start to see you as an expert, as an authority figure. You'll get your name recognized, and that can only be good for you. And also because the forum, is in your niche, you'll be getting targeted traffic. People will read your comments, and you've got your link in the signature file. They will see your comment, they will appreciate what you're offering, and they'll go back to your site to check out more information from you. Check out who you are, and what else you can contribute. And also, given social media and how it's become so huge over the last few years, if your content, if your contribution is great on the comments on the forums, people retweet your comments, they'll bookmark it, they'll give you votes, and this can easily turn into something viral and spread that one comment, or those few comments on a few forums can suddenly go viral across the web. Also, as I mentioned before, you've got your signature file in there, you've got your link back to your blog or to your site. You'll be getting quality backlinks from quality forums, and Google loves websites that have links back to quality sites. And also, as you engage in these forums, like I mentioned before, when I had my issue with my AdWords account, I went on there, because I had a pressing need. I was in a lot of pain. I wanted to find a solution. So you'll find out on these forums what's happening in the marketplace, what's driving your niche, what's hot, what's not, what things keep people awake at night, and that will help you understand your niche better, and also ultimately it will help you perhaps put together a product that can solve some of their problems, which is a great way of creating a product that is in high demand and people want. So what next? So the first thing clearly is to find 10, 20 high ranking forums in your niche. So you can go to Google and put a search in keyword forum. So for example, if your niche is dog training or dog obedience, you can put a search in there for dog training forum, and you'll get a list of hundreds and hundreds of forums that in your niche that you can go through and see which ones are relevant and appropriate for you. Or you can go to one of these forum directories like 1001forums.com. In there, they'll have thousands upon thousands of forums covering multiple niches. You can go through there, find your niche, and find the top forums there, and then look through them again to see which ones are appropriate. When you find some, you got to make sure that the forums are what you need. So you got to check the number of members, check out how long the forum's been going, check for the volume of comments and the engagement, and that will give you an idea of if this forum is popular, is good, and if it is, it's going to be ranked better in the search engines. So what's next? Commenting. Okay, let's kick it off. So the first thing you have to do, is complete your profile with a bit about you and a picture, because the whole purpose of posting comments on forums is to engage the readers, so they will come back to your site, to your blog, and like what you have to say, and then subscribe. Right? That's the whole purpose behind it. So the more you can put on there in terms of your profile, the more you can appear as a real person, the better. So a picture, something about yourself, make it interesting, make it engaging, and that really helps. And also, pick a good username, something that's easy to remember, that's memorable, that will help you down the line. As I mentioned before, a signature file here, this is your way of leaving your imprint on the forum. So you'll have like a 1-line or 2-line, where you can put like a compelling call to action. If, for example, like I mentioned before, if your niche is dog training, you can put there, for example, 10 easy ways to train your dog, or 10 easy ways to stop your dog from barking and keeping your neighbors awake at night. Have that as your tagline in your signature file, so when someone comes across your comment, they'll see your name and this one liner, and they'll be compelled to click on it. As I mentioned, there's the website link and a call to action. It always helps, having a free gift in your call to action that'll compel people to click even more. Now this is important. When you come across a forum, you want to make sure that you engage or you post comments on threads that are popular and getting a lot of replies and a lot of exposure, or a lot of ratings, because these threads are always higher ranked in search engines and get the maximum clicks. So do your research, make sure that whatever time you spend on the forums is getting the most benefit for you. So always check out the threads which are popular and getting the most replies. And also when you engage in these forums, contribute. Remember, you're trying to add value to the forum. You're trying to build a business. In the past, when I used to do some forum commenting, I didn't really leave valuable content. It was like, great comment or whatever, or that's awesome. But here, now I know better, so I'm sharing that experience with you. The more valuable your content, the more you can engage the other forum users, the better. And better in the long term as well. And answer people's questions. And even ask questions, engage as much as possible. Over time, the forum owner would love that, and also other commenters would love that as well. If you engage someone's comment or answer a question or ask a question, people feel validated that you're taking time to engage with them, and it just builds your credibility. It shows the forum owner, and it shows the the members of the forum that you are a real person and you have something to contribute, and that can only help you in the long term. Excuse me. And also, provide opinions, suggestions, tips. Just get in there, dive in there, and really just engage as much as you can, because that will help your overall persona. It'll help identify you as someone who's serious about this and not someone who's just, putting spammy comments out there to get, links back to your website. And I would say at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day on the forums. Which is not a lot of time, really, if you think about it. And if you have 5 or 6 forums, you post on them, once a day, maybe even once every 2 days. That's not a whole lot of time. So, try to spend as much time as you can, as your schedule allows you, to really contribute on the forum. And the last one, be patient. You're not going to get masses of traffic coming to your site or to your blog after a couple of days. This is a long-term strategy, and it will build from a trickle to a torrent over time, and eventually that torrent will be so much traffic you can't stop it. It will be very, very valuable traffic. So summary, as I just said, this takes time and requires patience, but the benefits will be apparent after a while. And the whole game with this is to build a relationship with the forum owner, with the other members, so over time you're seen as an expert, as an authority figure, and they'll come to trust you. And let's face it, people do business with people they trust. So the more you can appear as yourself and be real, contribute, the more they will love you, and the more they will check out what you have to offer. So hopefully you found that useful. I think forum commenting is really, really powerful because it's driven completely by the members, and Google loves that because it's real, it's it's current, and it can only add to your credibility. So check it out, try it out for a while, see how it goes, and I'm sure it will go very, very well. If you have any issues, any questions, just let me know, and I'll see, I'll help you where I can. Alright, you have a good day. Cheers.